What up? What up? What up? It's the man Sean P coming in live. This is Sean P Experience, man. Look, I know every episode I said today we got a special guest, and I always mean it's genuine, but today's episode is a whole lot different, man. I got my brother on the platform, man. A lot of my guests I don't know at all. I love their work, I admire their work, and I invite them on the platform. But this brother right here, somebody I talk to multiple times a week, hours at a time for years now, nonstop. I tell the brother my dreams, my goals, aspirations, failures, victories. Like we really, really locked in, man. So today's episode is real special and personal to me to have this kind of person on the platform, man. Welcome to the show, Kofi.
Peace, man. I appreciate you, man, for allowing me, man, on your to come back on your platform, man. So every time we get together, man, this they say it's always a treat when two players meet. Hey?
Hey, 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 you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Let me do your official introduction, man. Today I'm so
Okay.
glad to welcome my brother Kofi. You built an impressive body of work as an author. This man is so many multi-times published. He probably lost count by this point. The publisher of Same Tree, Different Branch Publications, which a lot of my recent work, the past 4 years or so, have been housed through Same Tree, Different Branch. You are a successful entrepreneur. You are a thought leader. You are the owner of a Sale magazine, which I am a part of, that operation. You are the thought leader in that regard as well. You are also one of the founding members of the Griots Podcast, which I'm a part of. We were the original two-headed monsters on that project. Now in season 4, by the way, I'm very proud about that. 4 seasons on the project, man. And beyond any of those things, you're a credible brother, husband, father, friend. So welcome, Kofi, to the show.
Thank you, man. Again, I appreciate you, man, for allowing me to come on your platform, man, and have a conversation, brother.
Yeah, man. So every year when the year ends and when the year begins, you and I say, man, you know what? This year I want to put out about 4 or 5 projects, and we lay it out to each other our whole trajectory of when this coming out, when we gonna do this. The question is, why this book right now? You know, other things on the back burner you could have did, other titles, other subject matters, but why the importance of this book right now?
Man, it's time, man. We in a place where we've been in a place, man, where um we let rejection just overconsume us, right? We all of us can relate to this. This it don't matter what color you is. Everybody has been overlooked. Everybody has been doubted. Everybody has setbacks, and everybody has been told no, no, in many different forms. So it had just been on me for a while, man, to put something out um for everybody, something that everybody can relate to. You know what I'm saying? But put something out on some of my personal things I went through and some of the things I did to get out of those things. I didn't let no become the be all end all. I didn't let rejection stop me dead in my tracks. So I just like I said, I just feel like it was just a time for me to put this out, you know what I'm saying, for motivational purpose, for inspirational purpose, you know what I'm saying, to tell my story and to get other people to tell their stories. That's why I created uh the Your No Was My Biggest Blessing series, which was supposed to have been 20 went for 20 series, but it ended up going like 22 or 23 series. Um just talking and having other people tell their own personal stories. Then those personal stories is creating a conversation around the word no. The word no is the smallest word in the English dictionary, but it holds so much psychological and emotional weight behind that one word, no, right? And I wanted to be able to let people know that, you know what I'm saying, no doesn't always mean what we initially for it to mean. No, that we're not that is the end all be all, that we're not the chosen ones, that our ideals are not valued, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to put something out to talk about that, but also talk about what can we do to get past those psychological and emotional things that we carry when we're met with resistance, when we're met with rejection, when we're met with the runaround, when we met with no in many different forms.
So, Kofi, whenever a reader has read this book, they close it, they complete the project. What do you hope a reader walk away with after reading the book?
Again, that sometimes, and I say this a lot, you know what I'm saying? We have to look at no and hopefully that they look at no in a way of being a blessing. Because when you look at the etymological word of blessing, there's things that it's a process, it's preparation that you have to go through. It's hardship. It's what you come out on the other side that becomes a blessing. So take those no's, take those rejections, take those things of being doubted and overlooked, and look toward yourself. You know what I'm saying? Become motivated, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, and become the help. Basically, become the book is basically about becoming the help that you once was looking for. Those people that you reached out for, that you wanted help from, whether it was to help you with a service, to help you start a business, you know what I'm saying, to get a job, no matter what it was, if you reached out to those people, it's looking to yourself, looking within yourself after those rejections, and what do I do after meeting with resistance, after meeting with rejection, after meeting with unanswered phone calls, you know what I'm saying, being left on red. What do I do? You know what I'm saying, going this. So I give ways on what I did in order to move forward. I didn't stay stagnant. I didn't let no stop me. No, I looked at no as a motivational tool. I looked at no as movement. A lot of us look at no as stopping. We look at it as a stop sign. When we did it, sometimes we completely stop dead in our tracks when we're met with no. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm showing you what you can do to get, you know what I'm saying? What can you do after you're met with that? What's the next step? Do I stop? Do I stop valuing my dreams, my goals, and my aspirations? Do I stop believing in myself, or do I move forward? So I showed them what to do, you know what I'm saying, to actually move forward.
So my next question is about this wonderful rollout you've been having going on, man. So you have self-published many books, and you have helped tons of other authors publish their books over years. So what was so different about your mindset going into this role? Now, both of us know the book been written a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
On top, the audio book been done long time ago. You purposely say, you know what, I'm gonna hold off and set certain things up. So tell us about the mindset of this rollout as a self-published author.
Yeah, like you said, the book had been done, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to put the book out until I initially said I was gonna put the book out in March. We put a poetry book out together, you know what I'm saying? Tales of a Griot, plug, shameless plug. But I was gonna put it out in March, but I said I'm gonna hold back from putting it out in March till I figure out exactly what I wanted to do, you know what I'm saying, with the rollout of this book. So once I figure out, okay, I want to be able to create a conversation around the book, and not just to get sales, but just create a conversation, because I look at myself as a bridge builder, right? So I want to, and in this book also, becoming the help that you was once looking for. That's the message that I'm basically trying to get out, you know what I'm saying? And that is helping other people. I wasn't helped when I sought help from people being, you know what I'm saying, uh wanting people to help me do certain things in life. I didn't get that opportunity. I wasn't forward that opportunity of help. So I wanted to become a bridge builder on that. So I said, well, let me create a conversation before the book come out, because again, everybody has experienced some form of rejection, right? Everybody. So everybody can relate. So I wanted this book to be relatable to everybody. It don't matter what color you are. somebody can relate to something that's going on in the book. So once I figure out, okay, let's create a conversation. I don't want the book to be, and the book is not totally about me. A lot of it is about my experience, but I say I want to make it about everybody else as well. So I want to be able to create something where we can create this conversation around the word no, and let people talk about their own personal experience with the word no, with being overlooked, with being doubted, and then tell how they came out of or they didn't come out of it, because everybody's story is not our story. Everybody didn't come out on the other side. Everybody took that no and completely stopped dead in their tracks from fulfilling their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, or whatever it is that they wanted to do with life at that time, in that moment. So me creating this rollout, so I wanted to be able to create a rollout and then be able to create this rollout of a conversation around that. So once I was able to reach out to some good people that I respected, such as yourself, such as Dr. Ashley Wade, Ladarius, and many other people that I reached out to, everybody I reached out to, what I'm saying, said it's a, great ideal, and they afforded me their time to ask them a simple question, what I'm saying, and them answering that question. So I appreciate that, and it created this great conversation around this. My book, Your No is My Biggest Blessing. I want to be able to create not now only just a conversation, but a movement around this thing. So I want to continue to create content around Your No is My Biggest Blessing. Rejection is redirection. And a lot of times rejection becomes our assignment. The closed doors is the classroom. The closed doors is our lessons. And a lot of times no is setting us up. You know what I'm saying? Because no for me is the three P's, you know what I'm saying? And that sometimes no is for your own protection. So protection, you know what I'm saying, is definitely a thing that I look at no. So I want people to look at no differently. No can also mean preparation, you know what I'm saying? It can also mean positioning you positioning you where you need to be at, you know what I'm saying? So that's as hopefully is what I hope people get out of the conversations that we had with the rollout. I hope that's what people get out of when they pick up this book and read the book, or I hope this is what they get out of it when they tap into the audio book for those who are not big book readers.
I had two more questions on the rollout kind of a conversation. The first one is what you just said about 20 plus of us that you asked to be a part of this rollout. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us have accomplished things in our own individual lanes. The average person that look at these videos could never imagine Dr. Wade experienced what she said in her video, or what I experienced, or with Winifred, or whoever it is. The perception is Sean does everything like the Midas touch. Sean touch it, it goes phenomenal. Sean never hears no. They think I get every guest I want to get. I get every show I want to get. They think when I apply to certain things, I get they accept this letter every time. That's not my story. I just make it look like that. So what's the power of a testimony is my question. What's the power of a viewer seeing that, man, Dr. Wade went through that? Dr. Wade, like what? What's the power in that?
Oh, it's definitely power in that, because a lot of people look at the success of some of the things that we do. So they think that we do these things effortless. We do these things flawlessly, you know what I'm saying? But that's not the question. So when we look at people, and I'm speaking for myself, when I look at people such as yourself that I respect, people that I idolize and stuff, and they tell me certain things that, and I may be feeling a certain way about myself, but when I hear that testimony from that person and what they did to persevere through whatever it was, that only inspired me, you know what I'm saying? Because I said, okay, because sometimes people put people so far up that, you know what I'm saying, they are unhuman. We believe that they become unhuman. So, so that's not the case. So when you hear those things, you realize that those people are just like I am, right? They are no different than I am. You know what I'm saying? So, hearing those things, wow, they've been through that. And wow, they feel like that. And, and they went through whatever they went through, but and then when they tell what they did and how they came out on the other side, you know what I'm saying? That's inspiring, man. That's inspiring. You know what I'm saying? And that is motivation. You know what I'm saying? That when people look at that, I can be able to achieve that too. And especially I like the way that even with, talking about this rollout and you talking about the testimonies, a lot of y'all talked about what y'all did to get out of that situation. And that's the things we always talk about, the problems, but we never talk about the solutions, right? So I like the way that every last one of y'all talked about the solution that y'all had, you know what I'm saying, to get out of the situation that y'all did. So y'all are also showing people ways on how to get out of their situations, such as being rejected, as the doors being closed, a setback, or people not believing in them, or people not valuing them or their ideals, and et cetera, man. So and that was the whole purpose of the rollout, was again, people giving their own testimonies, and then not only giving their own testimonies and the problems that they went through, but also giving us solutions on how they came out of it. And that solution may be able to help the next person get through whatever they're going through, far as, being rejected and told no. And, what I'm saying, giving the runaround, which I say the runaround is nothing but a no dressed up in a fake suit.
Come on now. Come on now. So the second part of that is with the rollout, speak about being a self-published author. And a lot of writers watch this show, right? I've watched you for 2+ years take the time. You have really increased your video skills exponentially. The time you took to understand how to make good videos, how to make commercials, you invest in your equipment. You and I have met in person a few times. I've seen the things that Kofi carried with him in person, let alone what you have that I don't know about. Like, you really invest in yourself. You invest in your business, the applications you got to use and all of that. Think about the importance of that for anybody on the thing watching that self-pub. So many authors, they think like, you know what? The book came out, it's on Amazon. Like, I'm going to just post about it sometimes on Instagram or whatever. Like, it's not enough.
No,
you're in the community, you go and speak at certain events, you go out of town, you drive over here, you travel over there. I see you doing all these things that equal the success that they think they're looking at. So talk about the work and the process of that, man.
Yeah, it's definitely work. You know what I'm saying? And I spoke about this, or I posted about this the other day. The days of saying my book is out and you can go here and get it off of this platform and posting a flyer here is over with. You know what I'm saying? So, and me having a conversation, we'd have had this conversation about being, now in these days, and I just had this conversation because I made a video about it about 2 weeks ago. I was speaking about somebody, but we also had this conversation too, Sean, about you got to be, when you're being a self-published author, an indie author, you damn near got to be a content creator now. You know what I'm saying? And that's definitely true. And what I mean by that is, if you have a business mindset and you're a self-published author, indie author, you talked about investing. You have to invest in yourself. So you are investing in something. This is a business decision that you're making. You're taking the time to write something, but then you have to invest in it, because it's once you write it, there's another process. You have to go ahead.
Would you say at this point, Kofi, in your experience and being a publisher yourself, would you say the writing is the easiest part, honestly?
Yeah, right now it is. It's definitely
the person comes and says, Kofi, I got an idea for a book, my first time writing the book, and they're so scared about the paragraphs and they're so scared about the sentences and how I'm writing. That's the least of your worries, bro. Like, after the book is in your hand,
yes.
Not a game start.
And that's what now it starts, because even when I have consultations, I always ask people, like, what do you know about the book business? What are you going to do after it's complete? And a lot of times it's crickets, or they say, I don't know. I didn't think about it. You know what I'm saying? All I thought about was just writing a book. So it's more to it when you're putting out these books, especially when you're being a self-published author. So you have to invest in yourself, right? Because it has to make sense. And when I'm saying investing in yourself, you want to be able, sometimes you don't, and sometimes you do. But for the most part, you want to be able to make your money off your investment. You want to be able to recoup off your investment, you know what I'm saying, and make a profit, right? So you saying your book is out and directing them, and you mentioned Amazon.com. The first mistake that you make right there when you direct people to Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and Walmart and Ingram and Lulu and Target and etc. That's where you make the first mistake at when you do those things, because now you're directing people to somebody else's platform. That doesn't make business sense neither, because once you understand what their splits are, you'll make the business sense is, I want to make much money off of my intellectual property as possible. So I have to create my own platform. So which that means you might have to invest. You might have to pay somebody to build you a one-page landing page. You might have to build you a website, but sometimes now you got AI that does that instantly for you, and you just have to go in and upload your own picture, your logo, and then put whatever you else want on there in the edits part. So they're making it easy for you. So so you need to have your own website when you invest. You know what I'm saying? But then you have to understand marketing and promoting. I talk about marketing and promoting in this book as well, because marketing and promoting for a self-published author and an indie author is very important. But that's not only just for the author. That's also important for Fortune 500 companies. They are spending millions of dollars on a 60-second or 30-second commercial that is running redundantly on TV.
Because let me ask you a question. When a person says, you know what, I want to write a book, and they know got to have a budget to write a book. They're thinking about the cover and the artwork, the illustrations, all that. How many people think about a marketing budget or a promotional budget?
None of them.
How many folks come and say, you know what, Kofi, I got about $1,500 on the side for straight this promo. They're not thinking about that, bro.
Yeah, they're not thinking about that. All they're thinking about is writing the book and then putting the book out. You know what I'm saying? And then they have the misconception of, okay, my book is on Amazon. All I have to do is tell one person one time. All I have to do is post a bookmark, my bookmark up. All I have to do is post a flyer, and then I'm gonna have sales out the yin yang because it's on Amazon. That's not gonna happen. And I have to tell a lot of my clients the same thing. So you have to be able to put some money aside for marketing and promoting, or you can do it yourself. You don't have to have. I have a $1,300 camera back here in the back. A lot of times when people see me and they see my commercials or whatever I'm doing, it's shot off of. Most of the time it's off of these. Now I might use that every now and then, but most of the time it's off of these too, because I understand editing. I don't have to have a $2,000 or $5,000 camera. If I would have knew that before I bought the $1,200 camera, I wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have thought about that. I spent $800 on a lens for that, just for the camera, a lens. So it's very important. You have to understand marketing, promoting. You want people to be able to buy into what you got. You want people to believe in what you got. This book here, or whatever you put out, you want people to be able to believe in this, to buy into this, to support you. So you have to be able to put yourself out there. When I'm saying content creator, you have to be on camera. You have to be on camera so people can get to know who Sean P is.
What do you say to the people that say, man, I'm not good with being on camera. I don't like being on camera. It's not really my thing. I don't like putting myself out there like that. I don't really want to. What do you say to that?
You need to get if you don't want to do that, but sometimes I'm going to tell you this too. A lot of times you have to put yourself to the side for things it is that you want to do. You have to come out of your uncomfortability. Some of us get too comfortable that we don't want to come out, or some of us let fear overtakes us so much that we want to continue to be still and make excuses why we can't do this and that. But if you can't do this and that, then you need to put some money to the side, and then you need to find a face of the brand, because that's what some companies do. Some people that own companies, they're not the face of their own company. They hire people to be the face of their companies, people to brand their own companies. Then that's what you need to do if you don't want to put your face. But if you are limited of money, then you need to do it yourself. You need to do it yourself. You need to come out of your uncomfortability, and you need. And I tell people all the time, I'm an introvert, and people look at me, but I had to come out of that because okay,
You are. You are. You are.
I want to have my own business. I wanted to have my own business, and in order for me to have my own business, and me to be the face of my own business, I have to start talking to people. I have to start networking. I have to mingle and dabble with people. I have to get better with my speaking skills. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that I have to do that I don't want to do. I'm comfortable with being by myself, not talking to anybody without being around anybody. But for it to make business sense and for me to save some dollars, then I have to stop being comfortable with not being around people and start embracing the uncomfortability and start doing the things that I don't want to do in order to get the things that I don't want to do. I mean, in the things that I want to do, right? So you have to do all these things. You have to market, you have to promote, and you have to be consistent with it because Burger King and McDonald's, they're consistent with it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, I ain't gonna do it because they probably tired of me posting. No, so they not. You need to keep doing it. You need to continue to be consistent with what we're doing. And that's what a lot of the self-published and the indie authors are lacking is the consistency, you know what I'm saying, of putting their products out there and then understanding why their products is not being sold. But you also have to be at a thing too that you have to work it. It's not you put a book out and you buy 100 copies, a wholesale, and you sell 100 copies time you sell your book out. That's not realistic. So you have to be able to work your project, your book project. So you have to be consistent with the things that you're putting out, the things that you are sharing with the people.
So besides your marketing rollout being different for this book, your actual writing over the time has become different too. Let me set this up. Because some folks only know you from Instagram and doing things like this recent. But
Yeah.
I met Kofi many years ago in a whole different space, heavily scholarly. It still is. I mean, deep in the history and big old footnotes and hundreds of slides in the presentation and like just deep stuff. So what was it like shifting your writing to say, you know what, today's customer kind of different. The book can't be 400 something pages long and I can't have all these heavy end notes and stuff. And what's it like changing that style to go to a whole different demographic is the question.
Man, to be honest with you, it really wasn't that easy. That's crazy because I was just talking about Dr. Ashley Wade for people knowing me for writing historical nonfiction books. And that's mostly, if most of the people that know me know that's what I write. I write historical nonfiction. Like I was telling her, I'm an independent researcher. You know what I'm saying? I'm a part of 3 different independent research teams. And I love reading 300, 400, 500 pages books, and some of the books I've produced on my own and with the research groups has been 300, 400 plus books. You know, but I'm always been a person. I'm always a giver. I'm a giver. I'm always a person that always want to help other people. Right? I love to help other people, and so me positioning into this was I honestly I have to say that it was it was easy for me to do because I seen you do it. It was, and I'm saying that again. I seen you do it. So this was this was your lane, and this lane of self-help, motivation, inspiration, hope, and development. You know what I'm saying? I watched you do it, right? So by me watching you do it, and like I'm saying, I published a few of your books and edited a few of your books. So as I'm editing and reading your books, that was a process for me where it was able to help me see exactly how to format a book when you're trying to help the next person, you know what I'm saying, through growth and development, you know what I'm saying, or how to motivate or how to implement questions, which I have in this book as well. That's something that I got from you. So it was really easy, you know what I'm saying, because this is stuff I've been doing I ain't gonna say all my life, but a portion of my life is helping people, wanting to help people, wanting to build people. Because again, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm a bridge builder. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a type of person that'll get something and work hard to get it and climb up the ladder and then pull the ladder up with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a person that put obstacles in the way. I'm a person that lays the bridge out there for you to cross. So it was just easy for me to start writing about these things about helping people because I'm coming from a authentic and a real place because these are real experiences that I'm talking about that I went through and then what I did to come out on the other side. And a lot of people seeing my personal growth and seeing the things that I was able to accomplish that people think that I will never be able to accomplish myself as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, um, um, people hearing the word no are met with resistance. I was one of those people that, man, I took that very personal and I would stop doing something. I would stop it. That's why I wish I would have been a more ahead in life if I had the mindset that I had now. But that word, like I said, is the smallest word in the English dictionary, but it carries so much weight behind this 2-letter word. You know what I'm saying? And it stops people. So, you know, and that was another reason why I wanted to write the book, because there are other people, even with the rollout, everybody had a story, but everybody came out on the other side. Everybody, I know a lot of people didn't come out on the other side, Sean. Right. So I said, well, let me write something for the people that didn't come out on the other side, that when they was met with it, it said that they became angry. Anxiety crept in, you know what I'm saying? They started devaluing their own self, their thoughts. They didn't value themselves anymore just because somebody told them no or some form of no came at them. You know what I'm saying? So that is the purpose of writing this book, you know what I'm saying? But again, the process, you know what I'm saying, and the steps, because again, I talk about the warrior mentality in the book. And one of the warrior mentality is the book. A warrior mentality is solution orientated. He or she is not about complaining all the time. You know what I'm saying? It is about rectifying or understanding what's going on and then creating a solution behind it. Okay, we know this is what's happening. So what's the next solution? I know that I was told no about this. I know that they doubted me on this. You know what I'm saying? I know that they want me in this position. So what is the solution? What is the next step? What is the process, you know what I'm saying, behind this?
And back to that writing shift conversation, to go a little deeper on that, man, for both of us, I look at writing like music, basically, right? I put the book world and the music world very parallel. And so lately, you know this, I've been studying music a lot lately, man. Like, I'm a guy that, like both of us, we love lyricists. We love guys that got heavy bars, metaphors, similes, double entendre, all that. But like, you realize some of the biggest selling artists, they have the most impact, they have the most reach, they're not doing all of that. And so certain artists adjust and catch up to what's going on. And certain folks say, you know what, I'm gonna rap like this. I'm gonna be cool with not really getting no bag. I'm cool with not making it. I'm cool being underground. You know, Lupe Fiasco known for being one of the greatest lyricists ever. Dope with it. And then Lupe Fiasco does what? Kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, kick, push, cold. Who can't do that?
Yeah.
A little kid can do that. But it's something you remember and it's something that stick with you. I hated that song.
Right.
But the whole world knows kick, push, kick, push. So it's like, as writers, both of us love big old thick books. Both of us love these big words and go in the dictionary. But whenever we're trying to write something for the people, how do you adjust? So I've been 10 years saying all the books that I write, I wouldn't buy those books. I had to learn how to write books that I wouldn't buy. I wouldn't go to the store and buy my book. I don't read those books. I read bigger books. But if I wrote the books that I do like, they wouldn't sell.
Right.
And the same thing musically, I've been studying certain artists lately. I don't like those artists. But they make good hooks, they make good choruses, they make good chants, and the whole world love it. So it's like, if I'm gonna study music, I gotta study what's the catch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's sad, but you have to be able to dumb down, you know what I'm saying, just to reach the people today. And and that's what a lot of the musicians do, but that's what a lot of us is doing now. Like if you go and a person pick up a few of my books, you know what I'm saying, my historical nonfiction books that I wrote, there's big words and etc. in there, but those books, um, if I market and try to promote them right now on, because most of them right now on Instagram, like Instagram is like a hub. That's the book. This is where all the book geeks, the book heads, the book reviewers, the narrators be at. And I'm thankful for that. But if I tried to market some of those things, it probably wouldn't hit off because one, the page count is too big. Another one, I'm talking about some real stuff, and there may be some times where people may have to stop and go and start looking up words, you know what I'm saying? In there, what this mean, what that mean, et cetera. I might be talking about a group of people or a region that they might have never heard of, so they have to stop and go look the people and et cetera. So, and people don't have the time, people don't have the attention span for it. So we have, as writers, we have to be able to adjust with the times, so to be just like the artist. So we have to dumb down. So we can't write 300-400 page books. We have to write books, you know what I'm saying, 100 pages, you know what I'm saying, at least 100 pages, you know what I'm saying, or less, just to get somebody to purchase the book so they won't be intimidated by it, intimidated, because it's sad. We're living in the world where the attention span is so low, the IQ is so low, and everybody want to microwave things. They want it just like that. And that's what I mean by the microwave, the microwave era. That's where we at. You know what I'm saying? We want stuff just instantly, you know what I'm saying? So the writers such as ourselves, we have to dumb it down. We have to lessen the page count. We have to dumb down our intellect, you know what I'm saying? So we have to speak and be careful how we speak, you know what I'm saying, when we're writing. We have to be careful about certain words that we use because we don't want to lose the reader while they're reading the book. You know what I'm saying? But that's like, that's where we at right now. And I try to convince more of my other friends that are writers who are authors, you know what I'm saying, that are still trying to write these big old books, you know what I'm saying? And you understanding why you are taking a loss when you're publishing these books. Because one, when I'm saying taking a loss is, you're not only taking a loss because you're not getting a lot of people to buy your book, but you also taking a loss by them publishing the book. The more pages, that's more glue. They're buying those pages together. That's more ink on the pages. So your wholesale price is going to be, your wholesale price is going to be jacked. So you're going to be damn near paying the value of 2 books for one of your books. So now you got to try to increase the sale of your book just to try to make some money. So you're taking a loss by doing those things.
When the book that big, you're trying to ship the book. What the shipping cost going to be? You eating up so much of your money just trying to recoup the book, the shipping costs. You're taking a loss.
Yes. You're taking a loss all the way around the board. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make. Now it'll make when I'm speaking, we're speaking about self-publishing indie authors right now. That's what we're speaking about, but when you start getting into, the major, publishing companies, right, then, that's a whole different story because those people are not paying for that.
Well, I guess you playing with house money. You playing with the house money.
Yes. So, and so that's why I just want to distinguish the two so people can understand exactly what we talk about, because there are a lot of self-published indie authors, and there's a lot of things that goes with being a self-publishing indie author, and that is marketing and promoting, that is understanding splits and royalties, you know what I'm saying, and that is understanding exactly what we talk about when we're talking about page count, that is understanding the community that you're writing for, you know what I'm saying, which once you understand that, then you understand how you can roll your book out, how to market your book, how to promote your book and brand, you know what I'm saying, brand yourself and your book.
Before we move on, I'm gonna say something as a writer and a consumer, right? I think a lot of us make the mistake because our algorithm can fool us, right? I'm gonna give a good parallel example. When I was in the fitness world, of course, my whole page is fitness stuff, right? You would think
Mhm.
the whole world outside that door, everybody just running, everybody just juicing, everybody just eating vegetarian, vegan, or whatever. Like, no, it's actually a small percentile that live like that. It's just your
Mhm.
timeline make you think we all doing this thing. So in the reading world, out of our timeline, I can just scroll. It's just books, 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 books. Either
Yep.
somebody
Yep.
posting a book, somebody's writing a book, somebody's trying to sell a book. So we're almost writing things at 2 in the morning, like, "Dad, man, Bookstagram gonna love this." But in reality, our main possible consumer is not really an avid reader like that. They
Mhm.
probably barely read one book a year. They probably barely even go to the bookstore and buy a book. So it's like, that's who you actually writing to.
Mhm. Yep.
If we see all these
Right.
videos coming out with all these folks that can't read, these adults, high school kids can't read, that's who we
Right.
writing to.
Mhm. That's exactly right. That's
So to
definitely right.
understand that as you're sitting there 2 in the morning writing, who you actually writing to.
Yep.
It's not your timeline. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's right. That's a fact. That's a
My
fact.
next question for you, you kind of said it a little while ago. I want to go deeper with this. The struggle to separate rejection from your identity. So many times in life, like you said earlier, you might apply to something or ask somebody something, and whenever that no come, you take it like it's a personal attack as a man, as a spouse, as a father, as a son. It's so personal. This stranger's no. Help the audience understand how you separate that no from who you actually are, your identity, your character.
Like for one, when Dr. Wade, I told her this today too. We've been talking a little while today. Um, she said she wrote the introduction. So shout out to Dr. Ashley Wade. She's the introduction queen. You know what I'm saying? She writes
Yes,
a
she
lot.
is. She did a
Uh,
phenomenal job as always. Thank you.
yes, indeed. That's my sister. And so she set the book up perfectly. She talk about knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are, your identity. You know what I'm saying? So once and so the thing is knowing who you are. So once you know who you are, nobody can deter you or discourage you from moving forward and doing whatever it is you want to do. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you may not be ready for certain things. It may be certain things that you might have to go back and you might have to work on and put in your toolbox. You know what I'm saying? That no doesn't mean to quit. But once you know yourself and you know what type of value you got, like I'll give you an example for myself. Like once I started studying who I am, where I come from, far as my ancestors, right? And I started understanding, well, damn, my ancestors did this, that, and the third. And they did all this without all of the technology that we had, right? They did all of these great things without what we had. I know that I have their blood and their DNA flowing through me. I know the things that they did, right? So I know I have that same capability that they have, right? So that in it alone starts to empower a person once they start to know exactly who they are and where they come from, knowing their stock, right? So when you start to approach something or you have an ideal about something, and you start to execute that ideal and then you start to present it or you even ask somebody to help you with this ideal or get some feedback about this ideal from a certain person, and that feedback that you get from that person or the feedback that you don't get from that person, um it shouldn't discourage you because you already know who you are. I know that I am somebody. I know that I come from a stock of greatness, right? So it don't matter what nobody else is saying. I'm asking these people because they are experienced in the field that I'm trying to go into. You know what I'm saying? They have operated in certain capacities that I'm trying to operate in. So I'm trying to reach out for mentorship. I'm trying to reach out for help. I'm trying to reach out for guidance. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to reach out for some advice. I'm trying to reach out to see if I'm on the right path or not, right? So once you know exactly who you are, you know what I'm saying? That's the first thing. Once you know exactly who you are, if you don't know who you are, learn exactly who you are. So once you know who you are, can't nobody else tell you who you ain't. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how you separate the two. Once you know who you are, nobody can tell you your value. You know exactly who you are. Now, I know if somebody tell me something, Sean, you tell me something and say, I man, that's a great idea. I see what you done right here, but you point out this X, Y, and Z, right? So I get that. That's some things that I have to go back and work on and put in my toolbox and then come back and present it again. You know what I'm saying? So, but but the overall thing is just knowing exactly who you are. You know what I'm saying? Knowing who you are, and those things of when people tell you no, or people disrespect you, or people avoid you, or people give you the runaround, you know what I'm saying? That won't discourage you because you already know exactly who you are. You already know exactly what your worth is.
You know what I find too, Cole, before we move on to the next thing? I find the more we do business, like doing this podcast, doing other business, it's so not personal. I've had various guests on this show. I asked them to be on the show years ago, and I got no or whatever they said. They totally forgot about that. So if I come back around a year later to come on the show, oh yeah, man, I would love to come on your show. I always watch your show. They forgot I asked them a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever in their life at that time, it wasn't the right time. It's just time and it wasn't personal. But had I taken it personal, I wouldn't have had that second chance. I would have had an attitude. I wouldn't even act. And so I'm saying it because some of us shut ourselves down on something whenever it was just bad timing.
Yeah.
It was just bad time. It wasn't personal.
Yeah.
It was just timing.
Yeah. But like you say, we take a lot of those things, like we take that personal. And I'm speaking for myself too. I used to take things personal too. You know what I'm saying? And me taking those things personal, I mean, I would just completely stop at whatever it is that I was trying to pursue or whatever it is I was trying to do because I couldn't control those emotions that I have, right? You know, and so that's why I talk about that, you know what I'm saying, what a warrior mentality is in the book, you know what I'm saying? And I keep speaking on that warrior mentality thing, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you just can't be able to take those things personal. And you got to be able to, develop tough skin, again, know exactly who you are, you know what I'm saying, and know your worth. You know what I'm saying? I know my worth. So can't nobody tell me my worth. I know my worth. So I don't care what the next person say about. I used to, I don't care. I know my worth. You know what I'm saying? And when I come to you on certain things, I'm coming to you because I respect what you're doing. I respect you as a person. I respect you as a human being. I respect your brand. I respect your platform when I come to you. You know what I'm saying? But with all that being said, what you say, I value some of the things that you say, but if it's some things that you saying that I don't believe, that you telling me about myself and I know myself, I'm not going to take heed to those things that you're saying. Cause I know who I am. I know my worth. And I'm just reaching out because I respect you on so many different levels, on so many different things that you do. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you say, I know my worth, I know my value, and I'm going to continue to do what it is that it is I feel like it is for me to do. I feel like certain things is embedded in me. It's my plan. This is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So regardless of what you say, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to stop doing whatever it is that I'm going to do. If it's good, if the feedback is good, you know what I'm saying? I take that feedback, and you know what I'm saying? And if I feel like it's good information, I take it and I apply it. I become a practitioner of that information that they gave me. I receive it and become a practitioner of it. And that means I start to put those things that they gave me into practice on a day-to-day basis, right? And then sometimes people can give you information, and that information can be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So those are certain things that I have to recognize too and be like, well, I can't use that. You know what I'm saying? I can't use that at all, so, but yeah.
I want to go to a very near and dear topic in the book, man. Of course, a very, very important part of the book is your son's car accident, right? So we had Father's Day just yesterday. Happy
Mhm.
belated Father's Day, Kofi. You're an amazing father, man, in my opinion. So
Same to you. Same to you.
your son had a very horrific, tragic car accident. He has a whole book about it, in fact. Shameless plug. Tell
Mm-hmm.
us about the events of that accident, but what lessons emerged from that experience?
Okay, so um, my son, some years ago, uh, Bryson might have been 12 or 13. He might have been 12 or 13. And he was coming home from his grandmother was bringing him home from school, bringing him not from school, but his grandmother would pick him up from school. He'd stay over at his grandmother's house until his mom get off work. So they was on their way from bringing him from her house and bringing him home. And they ran out on the highway and a truck hit him. And as the incident was happening, his grandmother shielded him. And when she shielded him, she died instantly with the car impact. It killed her instantly. But she protected my son. But my son was broke up real bad. So my son, he has dreams and goals. My son, he wants to play in the NBA. And his entire life, as small, we have bought him he still have them. You go to his mom's house now and go on her porch, there's 1,000 basketballs on the porch. So we have invested in him early, basketball, even invested in, him going to training camps. So he was met, and it's so crazy, not too long before the accident, my son was met with rejection. He was basically told no for being on the basketball team. So he was already dealing with that, right? He said, I already met rejection with that. He didn't make the basketball team after he done practice and practice and practice. And then he was met with adversity and other things after his grandmother died during the car crash, and he was hospitalized. My son was in the hospital for a month or a month and a half. He was in hospital. He couldn't walk. He had a concussion. He broke his leg. He broke his hip. He broke his ankle. He broke his arm. He broke his arm. He broke his rib, brought his rib. So he was broke up real bad. And so the doctor told him he wasn't going to be able to walk again. Not walk again, but it was going to be a while before he'd be able to walk again, right? So, but the love of basketball, you know what I'm saying, it motivated him and it inspired him to get out of that wheelchair. So they told him he was going to be in a wheelchair for a while. My son was out of the wheelchair and maybe a little bit over, maybe a month and a half. I can't remember exactly. It's been a while back here, but
That's crazy, bro. That's
yeah,
crazy.
he
Crazy.
come out of the wheelchair. But I talk about that in the book because it realigns with what I was. So we teach our kids, and I didn't teach my son, okay, when you're met with adversity, when you're met with rejection, this is what you do, son. And I lay it all out to him. No, I didn't do that. I taught my son indirectly. So a lot of the things that I talk about in the book about setbacks, about being doubted, about people rejecting me, about people giving me the runaround, about people not answering my phone calls, me being left on red at the deal. So he saw how I worked through all of that. So I taught him indirectly. So I wanted to, talk about that, how me and my son was going, and I learned so much just looking at him. Like, wow, where did he get that from? And I realized, okay, my son saw me doing this, and I taught him indirectly. I didn't sit him down and tell him, when you're met with rejection, son, this is what you do. No, I taught him indirectly. So I compared both of our situations on how I was met with rejection and how my son was met with rejection, and how I taught him indirectly. When he's met with rejection, you don't stop. You continue to move forward. You know what I'm saying? You continue to carve out the path that you want to carve. You carve out. You don't let one no stop you from doing something that you're passionate about. You don't let one rejection stop you dead in tracks for something that you are totally in love with. You don't stop doing something that you have invested damn near your entire life in, because you have one, like you said, a stranger that you don't know, tell you no, stop you from fulfilling your dreams, your goals, and your aspirations.
Tell you two things, Kofi. My grandfather, rest in peace now. Before I was born, he was hit by a drunk driver head on.
Mm-hmm.
They told my grandfather had a few days to live, and he was all broke up. All kind of things happened to my grandfather, right? Don't you know my grandfather outlived all those doctors, all the doctors, all the surgeons, anybody he went to go get all these opinions from. He ended up outliving all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So that show you how opinions is just that. That's your opinion.
yes.
That's not in stone. You know what I'm saying?
That's correctly. And going back to that, and speaking back to my son, I'll speak back to my son. My son was met with rejection, and he was told no about life before he even came through the womb. They was trying to get us to onboard him because they said he was going to be a dwarf. My son was going to be a dwarf. His brain could. It was so many. I'm telling you.
Man, that's crazy. Hey, cool. How tall is he now?
Man, my son is 6'4", 200
Yeah, he's tall.
They say was going to be a dwarf. You know what I'm saying? This brain all these things that they were saying. So before he came out of the womb, he was met with resistance. He was met with somebody doubting his own life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody telling his mother, no, do not have him. Do not have him. We had him anyway. And he's a damn near a straight A student. Excellent student. You know what I'm saying? Great basketball player when he could have stopped when he didn't make the basketball team years ago. You see what I'm saying? So other people's opinions don't matter when you know who you are. And that's going back to what I'm saying. When you know exactly who you are and you know your worth, don't nothing else matter what somebody else saying. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter.
Before we leave on this topic, I have a small circle of people that I really take their opinions to heart. Everybody else, you can give me your opinion. I might take it and do whatever with it. But for the most part, this small little circle, I'm on a semi-circle. If they say, man, Sean, on the side, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have did that, you should, blah, 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 I consider that. Anybody else that don't really even know me, come on, man. I'm to a point lately, if I do something and my mama say, man, Sean, you did good with that. That was great. That's all I need. After that, the hell with it.
Yeah.
Why you saw that? How it was. Bet. I'm off of it now.
Right.
Whatever other opinion about it, good or bad.
Right.
You can't afford to play into all the voices. You can't afford to play into all the comments. You can't afford to play into all the inboxing. Bro.
Yeah.
Because most times the non-doers are critiquing, not doers.
Yes.
The non-doers that don't have no podcast showing, you want to do this with the podcast, you want to do that, and your background should be like this, and your thing ought to look like that. Where's your podcast? Let me see yours for a good example. Oh, you don't have one. Oh, okay.
But the craziest thing about that is, Sean, a lot of people value those people opinions, bro. A lot of those people value those people opinion. The ones that's not doing it. The most of the time, those are the ones that are always talking and trying to critique. You know what I'm saying? Things are point out what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And people are lean into that and value these people opinion that ain't doing jack squat. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. People push their own insecurities off on you, man. That's why I tell people, don't push your own insecurities off on me.
No.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, bro. I have some amazing writers that inbox me about what they want to put out. I'm like, man, publish that is good. It's fire. But those voices stop them from pressing that button. That upload button, that publish button. Those outside voices of non-writers. You will let some non-writers stop you from putting it out into the world? Something that could change somebody's life, possibly? That's selfish of you. That's selfish on your part.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
It's real, though. It's real.
Yeah. I've been there, though. I ain't gonna even, and I'm gonna just keep saying it. I've been there. I ain't never been, and you know what I'm saying? I've been in this space for a while, but I was them same people, man, at one time, man. You know, them same people, man, just taking everybody,
So,
taking it.
Kofi, on this podcast, I barely talk about myself. It's about the guests. It's for the guests. But I'm gonna say this. Those that don't know, I had a 15 plus year fitness career before any of this. And I was online posting my fitness videos and working out videos and all that. And a person will comment, I go and lift hundreds of pounds, Kofi, do whatever. But why your left hand was like this? Why your foot was like that? Why you didn't put your eyes like this? On YouTube. I go and click on their profile to go and see their videos. No video. So you critiquing me lifting hundreds of pounds and I can't find you doing one push-up? Nothing? But you sitting at home with your underwears on, commenting on my videos, me doing something. That's when I realized quick, oh, they're the main ones that comment. Because fellow fitness people wouldn't even do it like that. They give you a suggestion or pull you to the side, hey man, in the future, if you really, really care about what I'm doing. But those that just comment, y'all just talking, man. And that liberated me. That freed me when I realized the main ones commenting like that.
Yeah. That's most of how it be, man.
Just talking. Just talking. Let's speak about vulnerability, Kofi. One of Dr. Wade's favorite words for the past year is vulnerability, right? So I noticed something. From the bounce back season at the end of last year, you did my afterword. The afterword you did was amazing. Wonderful. Very personal. Then, of course, we did Tales of a Griot, our book of poetry. You poured so much of your life into that book, man. And then now I see in this book, talk about that turn you made when it comes to like just being transparent and, you know, bearing your past, bearing it all, family, everything, personal stuff. What made that turn for you?
Healing. I want to be able to heal, man. A lot of those things that I've talked about, I've been shamed to talk about, right? And so I made it a thing for me, man. I want to be able to heal, man, because I've been hurting for a long time. I've been angry for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I've been hurting for a long time. I've been crying for a long time. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's okay. And I'm gonna say this: it's okay for a grown man to cry. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people will say,
yes,
you know,
come on now.
yeah, you know, I'm saying that because they'll say a man ain't supposed to cry. You know, you can keep all that stuff to yourself, but it's all right for a grown man to cry. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it was just for me the healing process, and like when we go back to the Tales of a Griot, man, like that book was like it's still like my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Because it helped me to heal. It helped me to get a lot of the burden off of me. It's like once I was able to write that, and then when people was able to say, Kofi, man, I didn't know this, and you this, that, and the third. Oh man, and you know, getting the positive feedback by me being that vulnerable and sharing a lot of my personal things that I've been through, my trials and my errors, you know what I'm saying, and my dysfunction and so forth. You know, it just lifted a weight off me, man. So and so I just want to continue to do that because it's healing me, and I know my story will be able to help somebody else that may be going through the same thing, because people are attached to you know, to people, but they also attached to stories. You know what I'm saying? They're attached to stories that they can relate to. So I wanted to be able to share these stories, you know what I'm saying, to help somebody else, but not only help somebody else, but to help myself, because I'm in a process, or I'm in a season. I'll say I'm in a season of healing. So I want to continue to write about some of the things that I experienced and I went through, because a lot of people don't think that I've been through some of the things I've been through, because they know the version of me now. You know what I'm saying? They know this version. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the version of B Nut. They don't know B Nut. You know what I'm saying? So, and B Nut, the version of B Nut was a drug dealer. B-Nut was a gang banger. You know what I'm saying? B-Nut was a hip hop artist too. B-Nut was a poet. B-Nut had so many different layers to him, but B-Nut was not a productive uh uh a civilian. I would say that I've done a lot of wrong, you know what I'm saying? And so when I tell people that story, I tell people about, I've been locked up, I've been locked up, you know what I'm saying? And people will tell me, argue me up and down about my life and tell me I ain't been to. How you gonna argue and tell me what I ain't been through? You only know this version. You don't know that other version. You know what I'm saying? That version of me is dead and gone. He's dead and gone, but he lived at one time. He exists at one time, right? So it's, so I want to, and I've harbored a lot of the things, and not only just the things that he did, but just the things that I was endured that developed into that person that became B-Nut. Like my family, I wasn't raised with my mother. A lot of people don't know that I wasn't raised with my daddy. You know what I'm saying? I was raised with my grandmother, but we didn't ever show. We didn't tell each other we love each other. We didn't show love. We didn't express empathy. We had to be strong. So it's so much things that, that I've went through. I wanted to share it because I know that's somebody else's story too. And they still dealing with it. So they trying to figure out, how can I heal from it? How can I stop being mad about it? How can I stop, crying my eyes out about it? How can I stop being depressed about it? You know what I'm saying? So me being vulnerable, like I said, it's not only helping somebody else, but it's helping me heal as well. So again, it's because I'm in my healing season.
We spoke on writing styles earlier, but I'm gonna bring it back again when it comes to this conversation, because even myself, both of us are alike in that we value intellect so much. So in my poetic writing, for example, for so many years, I'm trying to write so intricate and use these metaphors once again and use this imagery and paint these pictures, but not really going from here. But the writing lately, I've been more so focused on what's the real emotion of this concept? What's the real feeling I want to elicit to the audience on this topic? And go less from this and more from, and I find the audience relate to it more. They respond to it more. They're getting it more. And they come up to you after the day, man, I was in the hospital last time, my grandmother too, man. Man, I experienced this relationship wise, or I experienced that with a loss. Like, you can tell it's clicking with them. If I do some verbal gymnastics, it might go over their head. They might be like, it was dope, but you didn't really get it. You know what I'm saying? So going from the heart is that connecting more.
Yep. Most definitely. And that's definitely, what I try. And that's why I like this so much. I do want to get back to where I originally started at, because I did start off with the book, Before Africanism Was a Name, A Brief Intellect and a Historical Clarification. And that is a historical nonfiction book that I was working on, but I put that book down to finish this book. And I'm gonna start back working on that book. But like you just saying, writing from the heart, people relate to it more when you write from the heart. So a lot of times when I'm writing now, that's where I'm coming from. So that's why, you start to see, me dabbling more into growth and development, self-development, motivational, inspirational type books, is because that's, it's coming from the heart, you know what I'm saying? And people can relate to, you know what I'm saying, those stories, those experiences, you know what I'm saying? So, that's where, I've been, my pen has definitely been coming from.
Back to hip hop, right? Real fast. Guys like Tupac Shakur and DMX, right? Known to be two of the greatest to do it. Both folks would say. They wasn't never known for like having these big old crazy words that they're using. They wasn't known for being lyrical, miracle. They're not none of that. But whenever they spoke, their voice and their conviction, the audience automatically felt like, man, I feel that. I've experienced that. I know what that's like.
Yeah,
and that took those guys over the top more than anything.
Yep,
that was here.
Yeah, you're true. Because when thinking about that, like one of my favorite rappers is I got a ton of them, but I'll just think one that's a lyricist. So Nas. Nas is one of my favorite. You know what I'm saying? And he's very lyrical, right? And I love that. But Tupac, DMX, they outsold Nas. They outsold Nas, and they they wasn't with the the big word play. You know what I'm saying, and the metaphors and the double entendres and et cetera, et cetera. It was just their passion, their conviction, them coming from the heart. You know what I'm saying, and telling relatable stories because they both was great storytellers, right? And so yeah, so when you said that, it just made me think of that. You know what I'm saying? There's so many dope artists that we love that are top uh upper echelon lyricists, you know what I'm saying? But they sold the least out of the ones that didn't, that came straight from the heart, you know what I'm saying? Those who rapped with passion, you know what I'm saying, and conviction, you know what I'm saying, and had a story, you know what I'm saying, to tell. So yeah, it just made me just think about that.
Speaking of writing, man, I had the pleasure and the honor of writing the afterword of this book.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, you know so many scholars, bro. You know so many dope, amazing scholars. Like, how did you make the choice? But like, you know what? I want someone on the afterword on this. Like, and how did that decision even get made? And what was it like when I sent mine to you and you finally saw what I did? What was that like?
Well, I mean, one, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't hard for me to choose. I mean, because you was gonna be a part of the project one way or another. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do the forward in there because I wrote a prelude one and a prelude two. So I was like, it's no need to have, you know what I'm saying, a forward or a dedicated forward. Plus, I would want you to write a dedicated forward or a forward, right? So I said, I need him to be a part of the book. And I think the best way for Sean to be a part of the book is to be the closer. I need him to close out the book, right? And I believe that he have the know-how to close out the book. You know what I'm saying? So I sent you the rough draft before it was even edited, and I even changed some things. You know what I'm saying? But I've sent that to you when you read the entire thing. So and I trust you. You know what I'm saying? So I trust you. So when I sent that entire thing to you, even in its roughest form, it wasn't edited. It was a rough draft, but I sent it to you. But I knew that you was gonna take what I got from each chapter and you was gonna, you know what I'm saying, bring it on home to connect the dots on exactly what I was saying, and you was gonna, you know what I'm saying, drop some nuggets, you know what I'm saying, for the people who get to the end of the book, like you were saying. If you got to the end of the book, you know what I'm saying, so you know, I was, as I always, I was just appreciative and blown away because it was a good, and I knew it was gonna be good. I knew it wasn't gonna be something mediocre. I knew it wasn't gonna be something that I give you and you just say, man, shoot, let me just go ahead. Okay, it's he said a deadline tomorrow. Let me go ahead and just craft something right now, you know what I'm saying, and go ahead and turn it in. I knew it was you was gonna take some, some put in some thought behind it, you know what I'm saying, ponder on it
Hey,
for a few. Mhm.
we being vulnerable too. Black men being vulnerable right now. I was scared.
Yeah,
I was nervous.
yeah.
I was
Nah,
scared. I tell folks for years now. I might have did how many pages? Three or four. I don't know, 3 or 4 pages, whatever it was.
mhm.
I'm more scared doing 3 or 4 pages in somebody else's book versus 170 pages in my own book.
Yeah. I
You know what it's
mean,
like? You have a real nice vehicle, Kofi. If you say, Sean, take my keys and pull the car to the front for me, I'm gonna be so scared driving your car. I can't afford to scratch it. I can't afford the back end of something. I can't afford the. But in my own car, I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna put the leg up. I'm about to just because it's mine. I pay for it. But
yeah.
whenever I'm in somebody else's vehicle, it's a whole different level of attention. You know what I'm saying? So it's somebody else's project, man. Sean, write a forward for me. Write an afterword for me. Introduction. That's
Mm.
not no light work, man.
Nah, it's not.
And being the
That's
closing person, I gotta land the plane. I gotta bring it on home.
yep, yep. What
So
did you
I
say in
took
the
that
book?
very seriously, bro.
What did you say in the book? You in there you said something about somebody said uh something about taking off is optional or something you said in there. It's been a while, but
That
landing the
too.
plane. God,
Yeah,
I can't exactly what you
yeah,
said in there, but
yeah.
I said, God, I never
You right.
looked at it
You
when you
right.
said, and I said, that is so true, man. That is, but you landed it, bro. You landed the plane, bro. You landed the plane. Like I said, you and Dr. Wade did a good job. I mean, an excellent job. Like I said, she set the book up, like, and I don't know if she realized that because, like I said, she talked about that piece about knowing who you are, and that was good. You asked that question of how do you separate the two, a while ago, and then and then you bringing it on home. You know what I'm saying? You connecting the dots on what I said. Then you shared some personal information about yourself. You know what I'm saying, on how you build your platform out of being left on red, you know what I'm saying, by people not responding to you, which is a form of no. It's a form of no. That's a form of if that's the runaround. That's what I talk about in the book, the runaround. That's avoidance. You know what I'm saying? That's avoiding you. So
And guess
you
what,
share.
Kofi? I
Mm-hmm.
find no response is more disrespectful than no.
Mm-hmm.
In the
Mm-hmm.
guy world, I'm not saying that it's right. Some guys feel like you better off punching me versus slapping me. If you slap me or spit on me, it's worse than you punching me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just saying I ain't even worth a closed fist punch.
Mm-hmm.
So leave me on red. You mean to tell me you couldn't take 2 seconds to type no?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even worth that. But man, Sean asked for what? Man, I ain't doing that.
Right.
That's how I think. Could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. I ain't saying it's right, but that's how I think. You know
Oh,
what I'm
for
saying?
sure. I mean, for sure. And that's why I talk about the runaround in the book. You know what I'm saying? Because you get angry, like, damn. Like, and especially when they seen it. You see the little scene at the bottom. I see you looked at it. You looked at it. You know what I'm saying? You looked at it. And and you go
But
back and I talk about that too, in the book. You constantly looking. I talk about that in chapter 6, becoming the help that you once were looking for. I'm no longer looking at my text message to see if the people that left me, that didn't respond to my text, didn't respond to the DM, didn't respond to the message. I'm constantly on that check, and I know they looked at it. Maybe they're gonna respond today. Maybe they're gonna help me today, but nothing. But nothing. That's crazy. But people tends to do that. But I'm glad that you had that warrior mentality where you was able to control your emotions and not let your emotions take over you, where you begin to, because I talk about that too in the book. Well, I could have, when the emotions, I could have went on YouTube and talked bad about these people. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Talk
yeah,
bad about
true,
people to try to
true.
stop people from patronizing their businesses. You know what I'm saying? Buying their books, their services, and etc. You know what I'm saying? I could have took that as being so personal where I just say, damn it, I'm just gonna stop. I could have just, complete, but I salute you on that. You kept going, you kept moving, and then you didn't speak about it or speak about them in a negative manner or try to stop what they had going on. So, and that takes a lot, bro. That takes a lot.
I want to encourage somebody out there real fast too, man. It's talking about separating again person and business. So personal Sean P. I'm gonna go ahead. This is my platform. Say what I want, right? Personal Sean P. If I ask Kofi for something, he leave me on red or don't really respond or just give me kind of a I don't know kind of answer. Personal Sean P. I'm not asking more than one time. I still have my own pride, my own ego, my own whatever you want to call it. I have one of those. But my business Sean P. The brand. Hey, Kofi, will come on my podcast this day, this time, whatever. I don't know, Sean. Okay, cool. Wait 2-3 weeks. Hey, Kofi, I still want to bring you on the podcast. You want to come on the podcast? I don't know, Sean. All right, cool. 7 months later, hey, Kofi, it wasn't a good time back then. Maybe it's a better time now. You want to come on the podcast? And I've done that for years.
Mm-hmm.
A few of the biggest guests on the show I've had, I asked them 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Sean would never do that. This is why I did that. And it took a long time to learn the separation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not emailing nobody more than one time. I'm not calling you over and over again. I'm not begging nobody. It's Sean. But the Sean P, the business, all right, Sean, pitch him again. Pitch him again, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Might be in a better mood this time. Might be a better time this time. You just never know. And
Right. And
sometimes
that
you get that yes.
yes.
Get that
And that
yes. It's all worth it. Like, okay, here we go.
because
Time, date, set it up, send the link, and we
mhm,
rocking. So it's like that.
right. You didn't take no as an answer. You didn't take no as an answer. You kept going until you got that yes. You know what I'm saying? And that's things that doing this whole complete thing, you know what I'm saying, in this book, that is, you know what I'm saying, you keep going till you get that yes. You don't stop. You could have stopped. I said hell with that, but you kept going. You know what I'm saying? And that's what no means to me also is movement. Man, we gotta move. We gotta keep moving. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you didn't take no. You didn't take no
Let me
as
let me land the plane once again with this one, right? So I want to end the show on the audio book. The audio book is amazing. I know a lot of my friends love audio books. I've become a big audio book consumer in the past 3 or 4 years. I think per year now, I have way more audio books than physical books at this point, right? So speak about the importance of why you wanted this book to have an audio version. Speak about that whole narration process, man. It's amazing. It's awesome. The brother did a phenomenal job with his voice, professional, crisp,
mm, yeah.
clear, quality.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I had the paperback book. Your Note was my biggest blessing, and I also have the audio version of the book. It is narrated by E. Kojo Andrews. The brother did a phenomenal job. You know what I'm saying? With the audio book. Um, and I wasn't a big audio person until like a couple of years ago. Me and Sean interviewed Sip Then Read on our Griots Podcast, and they're big consumers on the audio books. Once they talk, and once Sean, because it was mostly them and Sean having a conversation. Because, like I said, I wasn't real. I done dibble dabble with audio books in the past, but I just never. I'm always like a hard copy reader. So, but after that, conversation that we had with them a few years ago, it changed my whole perspective on audiobooks. And then Sean introduced me and Sip and Read, they talked about immerse reading, right? So with that conversation, I took that conversation and then I ended up started back participating and listening to audiobooks. So I started reading and listening to the audiobook. That's what immersed reading is. So, and that helps you to finish a book a little bit more faster than you just reading it yourself. It also kind of help out with your comprehension skills because you're not only reading it, but you're listening to it all at the same time, right? So that is an effective tool for me, and it has been an effective tool for many other people. But also, too, I understand too that we're in a climate too where reading is declining, right? So if reading is declining, you know, there is another avenue, you know what I'm saying, for people that don't want to particularly read, you know what I'm saying, or people that's on the go all the time. Man, I might want to read that, man, but I just don't have the time. But now you can do this on the go. So I wanted to be able to create an audio book for this version too, because this is a book that I stand on. This is a book that I definitely believe in. This is a book that I'm gonna keep continuing to brag about. If you ain't got it, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, something wrong with you. But this audio book, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, he did a phenomenal job with the audio book. And this version of the book is for those who may not particularly like to read, or this version of the book is for people who are busy and always on the go. So I wanted to make sure that we had was my biggest blessing also available for people on there. But you also, even just speaking about that, when you should have your books should be on every different platform as possible. When I'm saying that, I'm talking about your book should be in an ebook format. Your book should be in a paperback, hardback format, and it should be in an audiobook format, right? You should have those in all of those different formats for people. There are people who like reading ebooks versus reading the paper books. But the most popular thing right now, too, is why I did it, and most people are, such as Sean and other people, are doing the audiobooks because audiobooks are popular. I remember at one time ebooks was popular. Like ebooks was the most popular thing. People wasn't picking up the paperback books. They was because you mean to tell me I can get the book the same day you so, and that's where people was sold at because
And it's
they was
way cheaper most
and it's
times. It's
right,
at least half price sometimes.
right,
Half price.
exactly. So that was popular. And then when they came out with the audio book, and then the audio book begins to get popular because now you got an audio version. You mean to tell me you got somebody speaking the book and I can get it the same day? Sometimes I can get it cheaper. Sometimes it might be for the same price. It just all depends on who it is. Most of the time you can get it cheaper. Or you go through Amazon if you're not selling it. When I'm doing mine, we all doing ours independent because we understand this is a business. You know what I'm saying? We have our own business. We have our own platforms, and our platforms is just as important as the other people's platforms. So, but we just understand that we're in a place where reading is declining, right? The attention span is at an all-time low, and the popularity in the writing space right now is the audio version. That is the most popular out of the paperbacks right now. But you still have people such as ourselves that loves to pick up the paperback and loves to pick up the what's the name. But I'm just throwing that out there, if, for the listening audience and for upcoming authors or those who may want to publish their other books, produce your books in multiple formats, right? Because there may not be a person and again, like I'm saying, today's time, and it's sad to say that, but people is not reading like they used to be reading. It's just sad to say, you know what I'm saying? So keep your paperback for those who love to read it, but also create it in a different format. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, there are more people listening to audiobooks than reading a paperback book today. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Just being honest with you. So that was my purpose of, putting it in, an audiobook form, you know what I'm saying? And like I said again, Kojo Andrews, he did a phenomenal job, you know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that, and Sean listened to the audiobook already. He purchased the audiobook, so he listened to it, so he knows, you know what I'm saying, it's of quality. I wasn't gonna put it
And
out at the quality.
shameless plug, he did my audio book for Wish Your Kick as well. My book came out 9 to 10 years ago, paperback format, Kindle format back then. He brought it back to life this past December, and he did the voice for my book. So Kofi, this is a fun question. What was that initial conversation like when it comes to doing your voice? Because you have a very unique voice. I got a unique voice, and it can be difficult working with a narrator whenever they're trying to almost impersonate the person's voice. And I didn't want that for my book. I was like, no. He sent some samples to me. He was trying to do certain things. I'm like, no, I don't need that. I just want professional, crisp voice. All I need. I don't need you to try to be Sean P. You know what I'm saying? So what that was like for you, your
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, it was like the same. I didn't. You don't have to try to emulate me, but I did try to tell him who Kofi Piesie is, so he can kind of have an understanding of who Kofi Piesie is, and he can kind of understand my tone, you know what I'm saying, and my voice, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of times I speak with, and I try not to. I speak with authority. I speak with passion a lot, even when I don't want to. It just always come out like that. But I told him I just wanted professional. You know what I'm saying? I want the Sean P special. That's what I want, the Sean P special. You know what I'm saying? Because I got you know what I'm saying, I got introduced to that brother through you. You know what I'm saying? I had got your book, your audio book, and put it on the platform and listened to it. And man, he done a great job. And I was like, well, okay, I want to do some business with him too. So I done some business because I could have went somewhere else and did some business with somebody else, but I was impressed by the work that he did for Sean. So I wanted to, do some business with Kojo as well. And he done a great job, and when he sent me the samples, oh boy, you talking about, I was excited because I didn't know exactly what to expect with mine. I knew what Jones sounded like, you know what I'm saying, how he executed Jones, but I'm like, I didn't know exactly how. So when he told me the next day he was gonna send me a sample, he was gonna send me a chapter. When he sent me a chapter, I was like, oh, okay, shit. I was so excited and danced. I can't wait to hear the rest of it. And then when we finished, I sent in the last payment, and he sent it to me. I actually had something to do. I actually stopped doing what I had to do and listen to I couldn't wait. I can't wait till I get back. I can't wait till I finish this. I gotta listen to it. Right. So I listened to the entire project right there, and I said, "Ooh, oh, look at Alex."
And let me tell you, Kofi, I heard my part afterward. I was in the shower getting ready for something. Had my little speaker on side the tub, my little speakers on. I'm doing my
Yeah.
thing. And it came to my part. I was like, oh, wait a minute. For any author out there watching this, if you never had your stuff in audio before, like it's way different when you're hearing your words you wrote. It's a way different experience when you finally hear it, man. So like, I'm in the shower, I don't know what I don't know what I'm gonna say. Like, wow, man, it was amazing, bro. It was a crazy experience.
Yep. And and I'm glad that y'all exposed me to the audio books and me wanting to be able to incorporate book narration into my book project that I put out, because I done published many books, you know what I'm saying, and a lot of those books don't have audio book version to it, you know what I'm saying. So I've been blessed, couple of books that we've put out together. I think this my first one by myself. No, this is my second one by myself. Yeah, this is my second one. Yeah, this is my second one by myself. Africa Heritage. And now Africa Heritage have now. Yeah, this is my second one by myself. You know what I'm saying? And then we got two together? We got one together. We got one together, don't we? Can't remember.
Yeah, acting on dreams and visions. That's one.
That's okay. Yeah. No, yeah, that's right. I don't know why I'm thinking the new generation, the modern. We've been talking about doing that. That's why I don't know why I thought we had that one out, but yep, man. So again, just for the listening audience, I just advise for you to put them all in different format. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I'm saying, the most popular one right now is the audio narration. But I mean, the book narration. If you're doing an audio book, I just tell you, just keep in mind that it's affordable. You know what I'm saying? According, it's affordable. You know what I'm saying? If it's a book, it may get a little bit expensive. I remember one of our colleagues, one of our brothers, who wrote that big old thick book. I can't think of his name. And he started trying to get funding for it. That book got booked.
Talking about Amari Richardson.
Yeah,
Amari.
yep.
It was like Kamari or Kamori or start with a K, right? A K word. Kimono, something.
Yeah, I can't. It's somewhere in here. I rearranged these bookshelves so much.
That's a big old huge book. That was a big old book. That was
right. And he was trying. Right, and you remember he was trying to take funding. He was trying to take up funding to get the book published, because that was going to be so. Because when what we're saying is, the more the pages is, the longer the hours are, right? So so they go off, the hours. You know what I'm saying? So the longer it is, and that book that we're talking about, that's probably 20 hours. That's about 20 hours.
No, yeah, so, you're right. You're very literally right. That book that size, that could be 20 plus audio hours, bro. It's just based on the amount of audio that I buy and getting a rough idea of how many pages about a certain amount of time. That could be 20 some hours, bro.
Yeah.
Because the MLK book, the King book is 20 some hours, and that was probably 600 some pages. The King book that came out. Jonathan Ige. Jonathan Ige. That's like 23 hours of audio, something like that. 21 hours of audio.
Yeah,
and that was like six. That was like six something. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Thicker than the Snickers.
Yeah, thicker than a sneaker. And one more thing, man, before we end, man, with the audio book that I want to share is, like, be careful with who you get to narrate your book, because a narrator can mess up your book. It can create a bad experience for the listener. There's been a few books I've read. I'm talking about entrepreneurs who are millionaires, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Multimillionaires. And one book in particular, um, I'm just was shocked with who they, I mean, I don't know the person who they choose, but they choose to narrate the book. I never finished the audio book, listening to it and reading it because the experience of listening to the audio book, it was trash. And then another book I've read, a person I respect and still respect, but they narrated their own book. But if you can't hardly read and pronounce words and all those other types, you can make it a bad experience for the listener. So just always keep that in mind,
Yeah,
you know, who you selecting to do your
I
audio
would
book
say
if you're doing it.
I would say that a amazing narrator could take an okay book and bring it up,
Yes,
but
indeed.
the wrong narrator could take a real good book and bring it way down, man.
Yes,
Bring it way
indeed.
down.
Yep. Yeah, you know, so just always keep that in mind, when you doing that, man. And we hadn't had a hit or miss anyway, because the people that we selected, D. Lewis, um, and Sister Flo, and E. Kojo, you know, they have a track record. They have experience, they have a track record, so we can see, you know what I'm saying, we know exactly what they're doing. So just always, make sure you picking the right person to bring, more life into your book.
Right, right. Well, thank you very much, Kofi. This is our time, man. I appreciate you always. I mean, we got a lot more things to write, you and I, so a lot more shows like this to come in the future, man. So I look forward to it. Tell the people the best way to go about getting your.
Okay. The best way to get my book is going to www.sanetreedifferentbranchpublishing.com. That's how you support me. It's on Amazon, it's on Barnes and Nobles. And I got a video coming out tomorrow to talk about why the importance of patronizing the author directly if they have their own platform. And I'm talking about self-published and indie authors. If they have their own platforms, patronize them directly. That's how you truly support them. And I explained that in the video that I'll be posting tomorrow. I got some content that I created for that tomorrow. But that's how you able to get the book. That's how you able to get the audio book. To get the audio book and the paperback book, you go to www.sanetreedifferentbranchpublishing.com. They both affordable. The paperback book is $20. The audio book, I think, is $10. I think it might be $8, $10. I can't remember. It's cheap. It's half the price of the paperback book. So definitely tap into the platform and get those books. And if you see something else on your like, get something off there. Sean, your book is on there as well. Some of Sean publications is on there as well. Some of our collective work, me, him, and Dr. Ashley Wade, acting on your dreams and vision. I'm gonna continue to talk about that phenomenal piece of work as well. If you see that on there, tap into that. But again, you know what I'm saying, your no is my biggest blessing. That's what we gonna do. We gonna turn it into a conversation, but we definitely gonna turn it into a movement.
That's it, man. That's it. Thank y'all very much for this episode of Sean P Experience. You got any comments watching this later, man? Drop some comments. I always love to come back around and respond, share it out, subscribe to the show. See y'all next time.
Peace.